Welcome back to the Laces Out Fantasy Football Podcast. This is the weekly recap show. I'm your commissioner and host, Chris. We are 2 weeks into the season, which is kind of crazy thinking about how fast it's already gone. A lot of football over weird times. I know Monday night they did 2 games in a row, wicked late. I know Patrick probably loved that out in the West Coast, but over here on the East Coast, I know that was no bueno. That was no fun. We couldn't really see much of the second game, but there were a lot of points scored, a lot of weird injuries this week, a lot of big fantasy impact to some of those injuries. So let's dive in. Overall, it was a better week for our league. The average score went up almost 6% over last week, so the average team score was almost 111 per points per team. Of course, that's an average, so there's a lot of teams that were lower than that. Um, but it's a trend in the right direction. It means people are starting to lock into their lineups, in my opinion, a little more. Maybe game scripts and teams are starting to figure things out in the actual NFL. We had 6 teams, almost half the league, beat their projected total this week. So hats off to you for starting the right players, scoring those extra points. It's good. It means that your team has the flex capacity to max out and beat teams at a time when it matters most, trying to get in the playoffs, those close matchups. If your team can have a higher ceiling and you can hit those higher point totals, you have a higher probability of making it deeper into the season, into the playoffs. So we had 2 more teams score over 100 points this week. That's great given how weird last week 1 was, and how many big players underachieved. And 4 underdog teams pulled out the victory. All right, let's get into the week 2 matchup recaps. Up first, we had Trevor's Locks versus Watch Out We Getting Healthy #1. Final score, Trevor's Locks 127 to Lewis 92 points. For Trevor's Locks, James Cook, Devon Achane, and Justin Herbert really led the way. Lewis's team, it's tough to bounce back when your quarterback goes down, especially when it's Justin Fields. I mean, last week he looked like he could win the Super Bowl. He just looked that good. And then, I don't know, this last week he looked like a baby deer trying to run from, I don't know, a bear or something, and then he got concussed, and it's a disaster. So anyways, he's not playing this week. And then Aaron Jones also got injured for Lewis's team. He's, I think, going on IR. So tough sledding for Lewis's team this week, but deep bench, he's going to look to bounce back. Overall, again, Trevor's Locks takes the lead in the series, all time 3-0 over Watch Out We Getting Healthy #1. The next matchup was Paige's Primo team versus Sleuthy Sloths. I was arguing with myself last week. Is it Sleuthy or Sleuthy? I think it's Sleuthy. Paige's Primo team flexed hardcore this week, scoring 159.9 points, almost 160 points. Brendan's team put up 107, respectable. Would have beat my team this week. Paige's top performers, Malik Neighbors, Jamison Williams, and Kenneth Walker. The underperformers for Sleuthy Sloths, Hollywood Brown, Kyron Williams, and TJ Hawkinson. Paige now leads the all-time series against Brendan's team 4-0. Next, we have Nakua Matata versus Radical Rob. Again, that season 1 championship rematch. It's always a good one. Radical Rob pulled this one out, scoring 117 points. Nakua Matata put up a respectable 107. Top performers for Radical Rob, Tucker Kraft, just what a beast. Christian McCaffrey, shout out to him, and Deebo Samuel. Some classics there that are still just performing at a high level. It's fun to see. And then underperformers for Nakua Matata, RJ Harvey and the Jets defense. RJ Harvey's one of those ones people were excited about. Young guy, trying to see how he's going to be using the offense. Hasn't quite caught on yet. And Radical Rob now leads the all-time series against Nakua Matata 3-2. Molly Dangerfield versus Tua in the Pink. Molly scored 94 points. Tua scored 90 points. So both teams got away with one here a bit. It was a tight matchup. It could have went to anybody. Molly pulled it out, not scoring 100, but still getting the win, which is the important thing at this point in the season. You just want to stack those wins to try to build a case for the playoffs. Top performers for Molly's team, CeeDee Lamb, David Montgomery, and Tyler Loop. Underperformers for Tua in the Pink, Drake London, Sam Laporta, and Aaron Rodgers was an underperformer, but I don't know. Would you really say that? I mean, he's Aaron Rodgers. He's about to retire. He still put up a decent performance, but not what Baker Mayfield did. So, Tua in the Pink falls to 0-2, while Molly moves to 2-0 on the season. And this is the first ever win for Molly Dangerfield against Tua in the Pink. Tua in the Pink leads the series 3-1 all time. Dominic the Donkey versus Steve's Retirees. This was, I think, the matchup of the week because, well, there's a couple of reasons why. We'll find out. But the final score was Steve's Retirees pulls out the first win of the season, 119.15 points versus Dominic the Donkey, 118.85 points. Top performers for Steve's team, Jamar Chase, Lamar Jackson, and Terry McLaurin. One thing to note here, Joe Burrow did go down, so that affects Radical Rob's team. It basically affects anyone on the Bengals offense. Who knows what the true impact is going to be? I'm not an analyst to that degree, but I just know that Jake Browning, the backup, he's decent. Could still put up points, uses his legs, so it may not impact things here. But the underperformers for Dominic's team were Omarion Hampton, the rookie out of LA, Chase McLaughlin, and then the Cleveland defense. Lamar Jackson will do that. This one was the closest ever matchup we've had in our league to date. So that's a key fact about this matchup. And it is the first win that Steve's Retirees has secured over Dominic the Donkey. Dominic the Donkey leads the series overall 2-1, but again, a big, monumental, symbolic win for Steve's Retirees, putting that first win on the board for the season and doing it in very, very close fashion. Dog Pound versus the Pack. We can skip this one. No, I'm kidding. Dog Pound puts up a solid 110 versus the Pack 99.69. Top performers for Dog Pound, Jared Goff putting up a ridiculous 43 points. Travis Etienne and AJ Brown. Underperformers for the Pack, Derrick Henry 1.3 points. Fuck my ass. What the hell was that? Hunter Henry, Cortland Sutton 1 point. Angelo just solid win. I mean, when you get a quarterback puts up 43 points, that it's hard to beat that. Jonathan Taylor did have 33 points, but it wasn't enough to secure the win. All-time record on this series now goes to 2-2. Al's Dumpster Divers versus Matt's Gritty Goombas. This was a big one because Al's Dumpster Divers secures the win, a really nice win, 128 points. Matt's team never caught on, put up 80 points, but the big thing is with that win, Al's Dumpster Divers moves into first place overall going into week 3. So hats off to Al. Top performers were Rome Odunze, Patrick Mahomes, and Jahmyr Gibbs. The underperformers for Matt's Gritty Goombas was Ladd McConkey, Adam Thielen, and the Denver defense, which I felt that in another league. 0 points. You don't expect that out of a defense of that caliber, but it does happen. All-time record, Matt's Gritty Goombas leads the series 2-1. However, this was Al's first win against Matt's Gritty Goombas, so congratulations all around. All right, weekly awards. We have Beauty of the Week, Pages Primo Team, 159.90 points. Also secures the Large in the Margin Award, biggest point spread on the week of 52.41 points. So solid week for Pages Primo Team. Beast of the Week, Matt's Gritty Goombas, low score of 80.42 points. The Cuffin Link Award goes to Dog Pound, a projected loss or negative point spread of 8.13 points, ended up winning by 10.47 points. And then special shout out to Steve's retirees here on the Anxiety Award. It is the Anxiety Award because, again, like I said, this is the closest matchup of all time so far in the league. And then prior to this, the closest matchup, the second closest matchup was from our first season, also against Dominic the Donkey, who was beat by Trevor's Locks by 0.60 points. So again, just heartbreak hotel for Dominic the Donkey. They keep beating up on you, but you're hanging in there. So just a fun fact and tidbit, but shout out to Steve for pulling out that win. Week 2 standings, we have Al's Dumpster Divers, new #1 team, sitting in first place at 2-0. Second place, Trevor's Locks, 2-0. Radical Rob, third place, 2-0. Fourth place, Molly Dangerfield, 2-0. And rounding out fifth place, the Pack at 1-1. Quickly reviewing the trades one more time. No new trades yet so far this season. Only the two listed here, which were pre-week 1, Ramondre Stevenson and Khalil Shakir swapped between Dog Pound and the Pack. And then Trevor's Locks and Two in the Pink swapped backup tight ends before week 1. Let's get some trades going. All right. Week 3 matchups. We have Al's Dumpster Divers taking on Radical Rob. Again, coming off of last week, Al's Dumpster Divers, nice, really solid win over Matt's Gritty Goombas, took first place. Radical Rob also coming off a win, both 2-0 teams. Radical Rob leads this series 2-1 all time, but this may be a battle for first place overall, so keep your eye on this one. Next up, we have Dog Pound 1-1 versus Pages Primo Team 1-1. Both coming off victories in week 2. Both have the potential to score a lot of points given they have players that eclipsed 40 points in week 2. Pages Primo Team almost scoring 160 points collectively. So again, a lot of volatility here. I think this is going to be a slugfest. I'm excited to see it. Dominic the Donkey versus Two in the Pink. The battle of the basement. No, I'm kidding. Both teams are 0-2, looking for their first win. It's early in the season, but you do want to start to stack those wins as a ladder to the playoff bubble, especially if you happen to start out 0-2. Either of these teams has the juice to do it. But coming off a heartbreaking loss in week 2 for Dominic the Donkey, on top of some injuries that impacted to his team, they're both looking to come out scrap and claw to get that first win. Dominic the Donkey leads this series overall 2-1. Matt's Gritty Goombas versus Sleuthy Sloths. Matt's team coming off a tough week in week 2, again on that 80-point outing. Matt Gay, though, putting up 15 points. I think Matt's highest scoring player was his kicker, and that's not poking fun. That's just a funny fact. Sometimes that stuff happens in fantasy football. Brendan 0-2, 14th place. Tough luck team, but looking to get out of the basement here. This would be the week to do it. The series all time is tied 1-1 for these two teams, so it would be a good way to break into the win column for Brendan's team to get the win, and also for Matt to move to 2-1 would likely put him closer to the playoff bubble. We'll see what happens here. Molly Dangerfield versus Trevor's Locks. 2-0 top 5 teams duking it out. Molly survived a close win last week, not putting up 100 points, but prior to that, did. So again, there's some room there for improvement. But Trevor's Locks has got to be feeling good coming off that outing. 127 points. Both the running backs firing on all cylinders. That feels good. This series is led by Trevor's Locks at 2-1. And there are top 5 implications here. So we'll see who maybe suffers their first loss of the season. Nakua Matata versus Steve's Retirees. Um, Nakua Matata is another team looking for their first win. Steve's Retirees coming off that exhilarating closest matchup of all time for our league so far in week 2 over Dominic the Donkey. Nakua Matata does lead the all-time series 2-0 here, so this could be another case where we see a team get their first win versus an opponent for the first time in 3 seasons. Keep an eye on this one. And last but not least, the Pack versus Watch Out We Getting Healthy #1. 2 1-1 teams in the top 10. The Pack sitting at 5th place. Lewis's team sitting in 7th. I had a loss last week. I didn't break 100 points either. Lewis's team had a couple big injuries, but made some solid waiver pickups that I think will fill in nicely. And I think this should be a really close matchup. I'm looking forward to it. All right, as we look into week 3, let's start wheeling and dealing a little bit out there. I know the majority of us are active on the waiver wire each week. If you don't know what that is, reach out to me. I can help explain it again or Google it, whatever you want to do. But essentially, that's the player pool where you can go improve your team. There are players with value there this early in the season still on the waiver wire in that free agent pool. And you have $100 to bid across the whole season on these players to make sure you put them on your team. So you have buys coming up, injuries, building depth. It's all possible still by pulling those players off the waiver wire, because just like in real life, not everyone's going to stay healthy. And the same goes for trades. If you're looking for a certain type of player or a position and your team is weak, go look at other teams. They might have more players in a certain position, and you might have a player that they would want. That's how trades happen. Start using the chat feature, get active, wheel and deal, make it happen. That's how championships are won in fantasy football. It's not usually the team you draft, it's the team that you acquire over the season to put on the field to win those weeks for you, especially late in the season when bye weeks and injuries roll in. So no matter what, have fun. Good luck in week 3, and I will talk to you next week.